I mean, it would be nice if you guys are refunded. I mean, I don't think normally we pay for shipping, return shipping. So yeah, yeah, I think that would be nice. I already asked them about that, but I haven't heard that. I just heard that the ticket was closed. Okay. 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 Thank you. Appreciate that. Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye. We haven't started yet, so I'm just admitting people. I haven't started yet, but we will in a second, okay? Wait a second. We'll start in a few minutes, okay? Yeah. We'll start in around 5 minutes, okay? We can't hear you, Colleen, so you may want to unmute yourself and then I can mute myself.
I hadn't said anything, so that might be
Okay.
why. Can you hear me now?
Now I can hear you.
Okay.
Perfect. Yeah. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people on plus you. We have 6 plus you.
I understood many people. I haven't started yet, but we will in a second, okay?
Sorry. I am myself on my other device too, because I'm streaming it.
Oops.
So we'll start in around 4 minutes, okay? We're just waiting. I'm admitting new people coming in, okay? We'll start in 1 minute. Countdown.
It is 1:30, and so we're going to go ahead and get started. Thank you, everyone, for coming and being a part of our second Zoom meeting with Fuel Education, our partner in providing an online option at this time during COVID. I'd like to introduce all of you to Susie from Fuel. Susie, if you'll give a little bit of a wave to everyone. Susie and I have been working for about 3.5 weeks, 4 weeks now on setting up a K-12 online option for families. And we started school on Monday of this week. And I know that not everything has gone perfectly smoothly. And so I really appreciate all of you that have reached out with questions and concerns and asking for help and support. So that we could kind of get this up and running for kiddos. So Suzanne, if you want to just kind of say hello and then we can just start with perhaps some questions or things that are on some folks' mind, and maybe you could just kind of fill us in on where we are in regards to shipment of materials from FuelEd and courses kind of starting, and some of the things you and I have talked about as far as what we've seen from a kind of the administrative side, where we can look at every student and every family's progress.
Yeah, hey everybody, I'm Susie. Like Colleen said, I am the Fuel Education Client Success Manager. So my job is to be a partner to your district and be the liaison between you guys and Colleen and your teachers with Fuel Education, and make sure that everything is going well. And my utmost concern is to make sure that everybody is comfortable and happy and understanding of expectations. So I love hearing your questions and being able to address them individually and make sure that everybody is on the same page. We started you guys all with an introduction to online learning course, which is really the training course to be able to help you be comfortable with our platform for our elementary school. And that is really a foundational course for students and families to be able to establish some healthy routines within our program. After that, we had the rest of your classes assigned to you with some Fuel Education teachers. These are all Colorado certified teachers. And in the communications that I've had with them just this week, they are all very eager to work with you all, help you answer questions, make sure that the concerns that you have and the stress level that we all have with back to school is waylaid, and that you are all feeling comfortable and like you have a partnership with them. So you should all be receiving phone calls from your teachers just to introduce themselves from FuelEd teachers, to be able to say hello and welcome you and see what kind of questions you have off the bat. Materials are ordered as soon as the students are enrolled. So we did this last week. We set the date for the 21st so that everything would start rolling out. Has anybody started to receive boxes of materials yet? Yeah, we've gotten a few. Thank you, Amy. Yeah. No. So they are all on the way. I can track the shipment. I can see where things are, when they've left our warehouse. But it's a very, very busy time across the country. So we just ask that you be a little bit patient, like you would with Amazon, kind of if you were waiting for something and it was back ordered, or everything is in production and on its way to you. So you should be receiving and hopefully having an opportunity with your students to unbox these and get excited about the materials that are coming your way, and get your workstations set up and ready to go. With that being said, even if you don't have materials in hand, you can still work on some courses. If the first assignment you come to is a science experiment and it requires you to have like all this stuff, skip that one. That one's not for today because we don't have all that stuff yet. We don't expect you to go out and buy the world to be able to make this happen. So work with your teacher. That's why you've got them, and just say, hey, what do we do about this? Because I see that we need these materials. We don't have them. And I promise you that your teacher will say, skip that one, or we'll just skip it all together and they'll never come back to it, or we can come back to it later. But the teachers are who should be your first point of contact if anything seems weird. And if the teachers have questions about it, then they'll reach out to me, or they'll reach out to Colleen to touch base and get some answers for you. So I want you to feel like you are comfortable in reaching out to your classroom teacher to be able to get help. And like I said, if they don't have an answer for you right away, they'll let you know that they need to get with me or get with Colleen for verification. And that's our little partnership. That's how we work on things. So hopefully that gave you a little tiny insight. So if you have specific questions, Colleen, then we can jump on this.
I know that, Suzanne, one of the questions is because we don't have all of the materials, and school was supposed to have started on Monday. I know that some families have expressed to me they feel overwhelmed because they're going to have to do all of these assignments and then they're going to have to make these things up and then continue to move forward and progress in the curriculum online and the assignments and lessons. And this is something that you and I spoke about earlier in preparation for this meeting with families, and you and I brainstormed some potential solutions and some pieces. So besides kind of talking to their teacher and kind of having those conversations and doing some brainstorming or problem solving with an individual teacher, that there are some things that we could potentially do kind of on the back end, if you will, of Fuel. Is that something you would maybe like to kind of share a little bit about how we have a lot of flexibility as a district in working with Fuel in that regard, and a lot of things that we can do as a district at the end, and why we would do that at the end instead of maybe right now?
Right. So yes, like Colleen said, we do have tons of flexibility with our students. And a lot of that, the decision making for that is going to come from your district, because every district has different expectations. But right now, what I don't want you to feel like, okay, well, today's Thursday and we only did one thing over Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So that means next week we're going to have 50 things to do. It's not the case. There's plenty of time built into our lessons to where the computer program that we use will automatically level set your courses. If you are not doing them for a few days, you won't see this huge backlog of assignments that you'll have to do next week. Everything will even itself out over the course of the school year. So please don't feel like at the beginning of the week you have this big list of things that you have to get done right now. Right now, we want you to feel like you're doing what you can. So even if that is one lesson per day this week, and next week maybe work on 2 lessons per day, but don't just do like all math, because we don't want you. We want you to be to get your feet wet with all of your subjects. So maybe like one math on Monday, and then an English and a science on Tuesday. So work with your own child on what works best for you. After a few weeks, ideally, you would be in a position to where you can do a lesson in each subject, do your full course plan for the week. So what we want you to know is there are some students in Manitou Springs that are, maybe their parents have experience with homeschooling, and they're kind of hit the ground running, and that's okay too. You know, we've got all different kinds of students. So some are totally fine and running with it and getting all their lessons done. That's not everybody, and that's okay. So just like in a regular classroom, your teachers are going to know that there are some students that are, hit the ground running and they're ready to go, and then there's some that are going to need to ease into it, and that's the flexibility that we have. So what we're going to do is we're just going to leave the settings right now as they are. You guys work on what you can, and with the expectation that in a few weeks you'll be able to do a full school day. And then what I really suggested for Colleen is that towards the end of the school year, third quarter, you guys have a parent-teacher conference with you and Colleen or your counselors at school to be able to see where your student is. So you would think by the time that we are reaching our third quarter in March, April timeframe, that you would have approximately 75% of the course completed. If that's not the case, then we can modify those expectations. If you're closer to 60%, then maybe for the full school year, instead of anticipating that you're going to do 100% of the material, maybe we adjust your expectations to where you're going to do 85. So these are all things that we can do on the back end. It's very technical. You probably don't need to know. The only thing that really I want you to know is now's not the time to be super stressed out. We want you to embrace this. You're given the opportunity to be home and to watch your student learn. And I want you to feel like you're comfortable enough to where you can embrace the joy that you see on your student's face whenever they conquer something that maybe they've been struggling with. So right now, if it's too much for you to do a lesson in every class every day, yeah, I get it. That's overwhelming to go from 0 to 100. So ease your way in, and your classroom teachers will be supportive of this as well. Sorry, I'm like bringing up all the air. Embracing and understanding what you can do with your student right now. Now, if we're in December and you're still at the one lesson a day kind of plan, then we might need to talk about that. But right now, just kind of have some grace for yourself and set goals and for your student and share with your student as well. Like, hey, today we're going to do one thing, and then tomorrow we're going to do 2 things. And then, for the rest of the week, it might be 2 things, but, we'll do what we can. And if you're the kind of person that you need your kid to be working on something on Saturday because they're really getting on your nerves or whatever, you certainly have the ability to do that. There is no expectation for you to work on the weekends at all. But if you wanted to, if it made you feel more comfortable because you wanted to be able to do an extra thing, then you certainly can. So there's so much flexibility in it. Does that help?
Suzanne, one of the other things that you and I had talked about was until we get materials, I think some tricks, if you will, about using the digital resources.
Yeah.
And where those might be located for families until those supplies have arrived at families' homes. Some ideas that you and I had kind of brainstormed together. Maybe you could share those with families as well.
Yep, absolutely. So I know I keep saying like be open with communication with your classroom teacher, but I know, for example, in the math curriculum, next to each lesson, there's a PDF version of what your student would see in their workbook. If you don't have your workbook yet, then I would suggest maybe having scratch paper, or if you have a whiteboard, even better, and have the student, they don't necessarily need to write the questions down or anything. If you just pull up that PDF and see them working on it in front of you and doing their little practice assignments on, counting and adding and sorting colors and whatever, what they would normally be doing in their workbook, you don't have to print these pages. That's a lot of work. Just use some scratch paper, or like if you have a dry erase board or whatever you have on hand. I don't want you going out and buying a chalkboard for your class or for your in-home classroom either. Whatever makes you feel comfortable, but understand that there is flexibility there. There are things that you can be doing even though you don't have your materials yet. And that's totally okay and very, very normal. So I'm not sure if you guys remember this about me, but my first 7 years with Fuel Education, I was a high school math teacher. Well, these students are it's the way that it is, because we don't want to order materials and ship materials to anybody that decides to not pursue Fuel Education. So we have to wait until the students are enrolled. We get them out as quickly as we can, but there are going to be some buffer days in there where you don't have everything yet, and we just have to be flexible with that and understanding, and just kind of work with what you got for a little bit.
Suzanne, I have turned off chatting, so we have a question from Elizabeth. Elizabeth, do you want to answer your question? If you want to unmute yourself. I'm having people raise their hand. So,
can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
So my question, it deals with some of the glitches in the system. We've been able to get through a lot of the lessons, but it seems like at the end, like when we're taking quizzes and stuff, it's more so today. it's not registering the progress. And so we've gone through, we've taken the quizzes, I've entered my password, but when we go back through the progress, it says it's not complete. So I don't know if there's something that we're not doing or there's some kind of glitch going on in the system. You mentioned reaching out to teachers, but when I did go into the teacher link, it didn't allow me to send an email. So I didn't know if there's a problem with the system today or something.
Has it normally let you email teachers directly through the system?
I have in the past, yeah.
Okay. It could just be an overwhelming amount of people in there right now. So feel free to reach out to your teacher through like personal email. You should have their email address, I believe. If not, let me know. I would say, you know, if it's not working through the system, then just kind of go around it and I would send screenshots of what you're seeing and let them get to the bottom of it. So we use snipping tool all the time. I don't know if you guys have that, but you can download that one for free and take a little snip, send it to your teacher and say, you know, is this normal? What do you see on your end? Am I missing something? Because she'll be able to really dive in there with you for that one.
Kids would know how to take screenshots on their iPad. It's really easy to take, just like
Oh
on
yeah,
phone.
screenshots. Yeah, you're right.
Well, that brings me to one other question. So I was told that the Safari app doesn't work very well with this program, and on the elementary app catalog, I can't download Chrome. So I don't know if there's a way for the district to actually allow more browser choices. But I was wondering if that could have been part of the problem with it not registering the progress.
It does work.
We have pushed out Chrome. So if you don't have it, I'll look for that after when I get back. I'll note down your name. But we have pushed out Chrome to mostly in the app catalog. But your Safari is supported and actually seem to work better for many kids. But I will push out Chrome to make sure all the elementary kids have it too.
Okay, thanks.
And do we have time for a couple more questions, Pauline, or?
I was just gonna say thank you for those questions, and I appreciate that because I know that the Safari Chrome piece on the iPads has been something that has been a kind of a technical glitch for us. So I really appreciate that that piece. That was not something that we had anticipated, and so I really am thankful for Kat and her tech team here at the district for the support that they've given to myself and to the mentors and to families. So we can work around some of those tech glitches that we weren't aware would be an issue until we had families get in there. So I appreciate their support in trying to find solutions quickly for families for that. So that I appreciate. Suzanne, any ideas around browsers or pieces like that, maybe that would help us move forward in that way?
I think in general, K-12 suggests the Chrome browser. So I think if you can move on that one, that would probably be best. But I like Colleen said, like it's very important that you ask the questions that you have, either to Colleen and myself, or ask the questions to your teachers, because a lot of it is, you know, you may have the same question as multiple people, but not everybody is very forthcoming with asking their questions. So just like in a school classroom, there could be a lot of confused faces around, but somebody has to step up and ask the question. So feel free, don't ever feel like you're overburdening. You know, the questions that you're asking help us to understand your needs more. So definitely reach out to Colleen and to your classroom teacher so that they can know, you know, if there's something that they need to announce to the whole class. Yeah.
Well, we have a question from Samantha. Samantha, do you want to ask a question?
Yes, I also wanted to say that we weren't able to get Chrome on our iPad either. So I don't know if you didn't push that out to the elementary kids, if that's why. And then
none of the elementary kids I got Chrome because I was told it was from 6th to 12th grade.
Okay, yeah, because Safari is a nightmare for us. It glitches constantly. I've actually been using a borrowed laptop because we can't even get it to work on the iPad. I've restarted it and talked to Agnes and done a ton of stuff. So hopefully Chrome will fix that.
Yeah, I hope so. But you are making sure it's logging into the filter.
Oh yeah, I'm doing all that. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, I just saw Agnes to push it out, so she's working on it.
Okay. And then I did have a couple of other questions. Somebody called me a couple days ago, and I'm not sure who it was because I was out and about, but it wasn't the person who's listed as my kid's homeroom teacher.
Mhm.
And she had told me in an email that I'm going to have a new teacher, but couldn't tell me when, and said that this is just a temporary teacher
Mm.
for my fourth grader. And then so that I kind of wanted to know when that was going to be in place. And then I know you keep mentioning the materials and being flexible and all that, and I'm totally loving that part of the program. Like we're loving this so far. But the only thing we've gotten was a math workbook and then the mentor book for it. And another thing, but some of the items were missing from that. And then every other thing for my fourth grader is back ordered. So I don't know what that means. Like, does that mean he's going to get it maybe next week, or is it like back ordered? He might not get it until the end of September, because we're moving through stuff. Like he's getting everything done, and we're getting to points where, like, history, we can't do anything. We don't have anything for it. There's no PDFs, there's no books, there's nothing. So we just can't do anything.
Okay.
So I just wanted to know how we could handle that.
Yeah, so books are in production, and did the flyers that were included in the materials, did that have any like
Suzanne,
sorry, I was muted. My host muted me. Wow, rude. I'm just kidding, Kat. Were in your materials pack, was there anything on the flyer that gave you an anticipated date of when things might? I haven't seen these flyers that were included in materials, so is there anything that gave you no anticipated? Okay, so
no, there was nothing. It just really, the only flyer in there was like the checklist for the Summit Math, the Summit for Math. And like I said, not even all the items were included that were on the list, but there's nothing in there saying like those are back ordered too.
Okay.
So I had to submit a request saying I didn't get all the items I was supposed to.
Okay. They have plans in place. I know our physical operations people are we are all super like really working to keep up with the demand of everything. So I know they're working their tails off to be able to get everything to you. Happy to hear that you're doing well and enjoying the things so far and working your way through. We might need to figure out with history, it might be where your teacher will suggest to you and to front load the things that you can do, and then when the history materials get there, I wish I could tell you that it'll be next week. I honestly have no idea, but we can work around it. We can have the teacher work with you on how best to modify and schedule your day and your week to be able to make it happen. For social studies, I think, you have like history and social studies. I think that the social studies component does not have any materials. So you might want to be able to do the social studies component right now, which is kind of good because you'll learn about like the government and stuff right around election time. Great. But that kind of stuff would be like good ways to like modify. You asked about the teacher. So if you have a temporary teacher in place, or you're getting a phone call from somebody that is maybe not going to be your forever teacher, embrace it. Well, it's kind of like when a school starts and they've, have a teacher that's covering for somebody else. Well, it might not be your forever teacher, but they are there to do 100% of the job for while they are in place. So don't feel like you need to wait until there's somebody else there. That is your teacher 100% right now. And then if they end up reshuffling their numbers and being able to balance things out, and then you very well may have a new teacher. But just like in the classroom, this is it. This is their job, and so we're going to go full throttle with them while they're here. And then if it transitions, they'll have a smooth transition. And the way that it works is the teachers will conference about the students, everything that they know. They'll share the data before they turn it over, just like in a regular school.
So we have Dr. Domingue on the online too, and she had raised her hand earlier. Elizabeth, do you want to say something?
I'm just gonna Kat, I'm going to ask, I'm just going to answer something really quickly.
Okay.
Suzanne and I are working, for those of you who have not received materials, we are working together on what the district can do at the district level to support those materials until those materials are shipped from Fuel. And so there'll be more information coming on that to you very soon, probably tomorrow. If there's a workaround that the district can do to support families in partnership with Fuel until those pieces arrive, and how we maybe could work on that together, so that you're not waiting weeks and weeks and weeks to get materials from FuelEd. So just know that that is something we're working on, and you will be receiving an email update tomorrow around what some of those workarounds might be. Joey, did you have something? Joey
Yeah,
Levy?
I have a question from a parent. Sorry, I can only give a thumbs up or clap. I don't have a hand raise on my option. But this is Rachel Corman. She's just in a loud environment. And she says, I'd love to hear more about expectations for Class Connect sessions. How often? Is it a group call? Is there flexibility with scheduling? And also, my kids are scheduled for DIBELS testing at MSES next week. Will FuelEd undertake the testing as well? So Class Connect and DIBELS.
I'm happy to answer the DIBELS question, and then I'll let Susie from Fuel answer the Class Connect questions. We are doing DIBELS through your elementary school, either UPES or Manitou Springs Elementary School. And I know that the schools and their school teams have reached out to families to schedule those times. That's not something that Fuel will do, but that the district will do through your students' elementary school. You are learning through the Fuel platform right now, and in our partnership with K-12 Fuel Ed, but your students are Manitou students. And so ahead and do that DIBELS testing. And I know that the schools have reached out to you. If you have further questions about DIBELS testing or anything else like that, that the school has communicated out, please do not hesitate to reach out to Danny at UPES Elementary School and Chris Briggs Hale, or Miss Masson, Marie Masson at Manitou Elementary, or Julie or Caitlin, to kind of help answer those building specific questions. That's a great question. Thanks, Rachel. And now I'm going to let Susie answer the question regarding Class Connect. We spoke about this. It might have just been yesterday.
Yeah,
that we talked about Class
Seems
Connect.
like
So I know she's done some
Yeah.
research on Class Connect for us as well in preparation for this Zoom. So Susie, I'll let you take that part.
Yeah. Hey, so when you have a teacher with Fuel Education, the teacher is not only a Manitou Springs teacher, they're teaching everybody in the state of Colorado. So I have some Platte Canyon kiddos that are going to be logged in with yours probably pretty soon into these live sessions. So the Class Connect sessions themselves will be a hard schedule. Now, I saw a schedule come out that showed that a Class Connect was at 7:30 a.m. Colorado time. That's not okay. So if you have any teachers that are sending you anything before, I would say 8:30 a.m. would be my absolute earliest that I would expect to be able to see that on a schedule. If you could let us know, just so that we can make sure that the lines of communication are clear and that the teachers understand where your students live, and the physical limitations of being online at 7:30 in the morning is not okay. So if that has been communicated to you, can you please forward that on to Colleen and she can get it to me and we can take care of that. Now, for the most part, you ask about flexibility with the Class Connect sessions. They're not going to be flexible with time. The teachers will schedule it because based on what they teach in their day. So now, with that being said, of course, we want you to be there and we want you to participate in them. But if there's a day of the week where you know that your kid is in therapy, or you have an orthodontist appointment, or you're just not planning on working on Wednesdays because of whatever reason, all of those sessions are recorded. So you can go back on your own leisure, watch the Class Connect session and see what you missed out on. Hang out with your kid, chat about what the other kids are talking about so that they feel like they're involved and they're interacting with it. So even though it's a recording, it's kind of hard to go back and watch a recording of a class, but that's why you as a parent, if you could just kind of sit and bounce some questions around with your son or daughter, or child to make sure that they're paying attention and staying involved and all that kind of stuff while you're watching the recording. So obviously first priority would be attend them, but if it's not possible, then that's okay. That's part of the flexibility of being with FuelEd, is that you can watch the recording later on. Is that okay? We're right at the end of our hour.
Rachel, feel free to unmute if you need more than that. Feel free to do that.
So Elizabeth has one question. So if you can please join us.
Yes.
Hi, everyone. This is Elizabeth Domingue. I'm Susie. I'm the superintendent. Just wanted to thank you for stepping on and for everyone. I think that one of the questions that I know I have in my mind to the group here, our elementary families, is would it be helpful for there to be a sort of a capturing board where you all troubleshoot and problem solve? So for example, like, you know, as you all as parents find some things that work, really more like a networking group, that would that be something that would be helpful that we could start so that you had a place to share solutions? Amy, sure.
We already have that. We started that together with a private Facebook group that's been quite helpful with each other. For instance, like for us, we found some of the ELA books on YouTube that we could access, that we could move forward with materials, and we're all helping each other with that. But if you guys wanted to have that sanctioned, but yeah, we already have that. So.
Amy, that would be, I think, from a community perspective, and we could post those things on our website so it seems more like inclusive of everyone. I think that would be, so if we started saying only use this browser, you know, this is the platform that works, or, you know, we have this, I feel like that would be a real community approach. So who is there a way that that can be opened more to all of our elementary families in terms of like a Google form that we could post on our website?
It's me, actually. I created it. I've asked at MSES, I've asked if we could share the link. I know I've asked Colleen and everyone's said no so far, which I've respected. We have been letting some of the K-12 teachers know, and they've been letting other parents who have asked for support know. But we are willing to share that group. It's a little mess right now because we've gotten some hybrids in there and it's kind of creating some confusion with Canvas, but we are working on trying to get it more to just online, so there's not multiple systems and confusion in regards to that. But yeah, we do have a support group. I've been doing tutorials and stuff in there.
God bless you.
Thanks, Brianna. Can I add, maybe Brianna and Colleen and Joey Levy on this call afterwards could follow up with you and say, how could we put this in maybe a Google Doc that is something that is shared with all of our families and it is posted? Feel better about that than something like a third-party site like Facebook or something like that. And I know that's probably been working for you all in this way, but just in terms of inclusiveness, then we could post some videos, we could send some links and those things, and it's kind of captured real time. I know that we do that a lot in our meetings and our flipped classrooms and those things, and our flipped adult meetings. So yeah, thanks. I'm glad that y'all found some solutions, but I think that's why this community forum right now is really good. And maybe also it might be good, Colleen and Joey, to think about maybe parents, we host some Zoom meeting like this maybe every couple of weeks or something like that, so we can have a network that moves forward. I don't know if that's something that you all would be open to or be interested in. Thanks, Brianna.
No problem. Yeah, I did it because Teddy needs help with social skills, and how do I do social skills when we have to be socially distant? And I wanted, instead of like a billion different chats trying to keep plans together, I wanted one central group. And that way we also still feel part of MSSD community and all of that, even though we live 40 minutes away from you guys. So it's one of those that I wanted that mostly for that, and it kind of turned into this help thing. And I'm like, I will do what I can. And if not, we'll ask the K-12 teachers, we'll ask Colleen. You know, we do send them for some things. We're like, ask your teacher, you know, that's something that they may know. So I would love some more help with the group and how to get information from you guys to parents and parents to that y'all, and you know, having it more it's not, it kind of feels like a hidden thing that I want to be able to just have information flowing a little more easier. So.
As much as a community, we can have positive spaces for problem solving. And I know Kat has a tremendous knowledge too of like Google Docs, and we could really set up some unique opportunities. And I know like Joey is going to be soon considering some Connect 14 opportunities that it might be virtual, or they might be some other opportunities. So rather than everyone going to several different sites, we can just come back to our district site where Colleen's been posted. So if that would work, I want us to just really be problem solvers. And I'm glad you took that initiative and did that. So thanks, Brianna.
Colleen, I do have a quick question in regards to
go ahead.
material since I'm on. The one season kindergarten, our whole ELA package is on back order. And I was like, that's fine. I found most of the stuff, PDFs, I'm able to print it off or get access to books. The one course that I'm having issues with is handwriting. The only thing in the lesson it says is to work from the workbook for 10 minutes. And I did reach out to the teacher and she said to just ignore it for right now, but I know how important handwriting is. And so if we could just get some guidance on what we could be doing at home until we get that workbook, that would be tremendous. I did, because I know at first we weren't sure what materials we were getting. So I did get him one of these amazing things.
Mhm.
So I do have some of this. I have an Amazon link if people want it. It wasn't very expensive. But yeah, if we could just get some type of material on that, so I can just, occasionally put in a word a day that he could work on, that would be helpful.
Absolutely. And I will work with our elementary school principals and see what we can't get and get out to parents, even if it's links that we put on that Fuel Parent Resources on our webpage or whatever. We will I made myself a note, and we'll work on that part as well. And I look forward to chatting with you after this meeting and seeing how we can steal some of that awesome work. Especially, I can't wait to see those tutorials that you made.
I went live on Facebook and I was like, okay, this is what I have figured out. This is,
I love it.
We're trying to keep it positive so that it doesn't get overwhelming. So
absolutely.
And if I could just add something, this is Chris Briggs-Hale, I'm the principal at UPES Elementary School. That is so incredibly impressive, Brianna, and all of you. I think what Dr. Domingue said is an amazing opportunity for us. If we put something together, then I can also, and us principals can then have a better tool to reach out and say to the families when we call, hey, I've got a real neat support group here where you can be watching Brianna live streaming or whatever, and many other things. So thank you so much for doing that. And yeah, it takes a village, doesn't it?
Well, and the reason we're in MSES, y'all all know my husband. It's Daniel Arnold. He was the security guard at MSES. So it's one of those that we love this community, and I just wanted to feel a part of it and also be able to maybe safely set up play dates and stuff. Cause I mean, he's 5 and he needs some help with his social skills. So it's like, okay, how can we do this and still be part of the community? And so, he and I talked about it, and it's like, I think I'm gonna make a group. He goes, go for it, babe. So that's what we did.
Well, I can see this taking off.
Yeah, I hope so.
What other questions might you have, or things that we can help to answer? Would it be helpful to have one of these every 2 weeks, like every other Thursday kind of a thing, at least maybe through kind of the beginning of October, to kind of just touch base and kind of see where we are? How many people think that maybe is a good idea? It looks like an overwhelming yes. And so I'll work with Kat, and we'll just get some Zooms scheduled and go from there. And Brianna, I'll be giving you a call, and we'll work together and have one centralized place that we can continue to put some family resources. And I know that Suzanne would love a place that she can send things and know that they get posted and that there's good information. And that way too, I mean, I'm a mom myself, and it's nice to know one place to go sometimes to get the answers. So you're not searching all over, because we don't really have a lot of time for that. And so that'll be a good resource spot on our webpage as a district.
Colleen, can I say, I'm sorry, I
No,
came in
no,
on
no,
this
you're
at
good.
late. I just got off work. One quick thing, that group chat that she's put together has saved us. So I wanted to thank her personally for doing that. That's been absolutely amazing, because we've all had to, we came from Canvas and we had to really quickly start learning different platforms. And I've got a kid in middle school and we've got a kid in the elementary.
So 2 platforms for you.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah.
So that's been an interesting thing. The one thing that we definitely need access to right away, and I don't know if, again, I'm coming on this late and I do apologize.
You're okay.
But we need access to be able to either get Firefox or Google Chrome. So I addressed it with my daughter's teacher in middle school, but we are not able to do the chats because Manitou has it locked down on the iPads. So
Heather, that's a great question. And Kat Olam, who is our director of technology, is going to make sure that it has been pushed out in the app catalog on the school iPads, that Chrome is pushed out to everyone.
Okay.
And that was something that has been brought up, and we really appreciate that. And so that's something that Kat is taking care of today, so that everyone will have access to Chrome on the iPads through the app catalog.
Oh, that's wonderful. What you guys have done and created this, I mean, I know everyone's got their own personal story as to why they stayed home, but we've lost, both my husband and I have lost our moms, and we are taking care of our dads. And one is actually both are not in great shape. So we can't afford to run the risk of getting quarantined away from them. So I do want to thank everyone, superintendent, for allowing this the opportunity, because it is a really good program, what you guys have chosen.
Well, Heather, I appreciate that. And I know that I speak for the whole leadership team at Manitou when I say that we wanted to give people choice, and we want them to feel supported by those choices. And I know that there have been glitches with getting Fuel up and ready. And I do believe, I don't work for Fuel. I don't get any kind of commission, but I do believe it is a good program, and we wanted to be able to provide a good instructional program. These are our kids. These are our Manitou kids. And we wanted to make sure that when they were away from us for a little bit, that they were still learning and growing and progressing. And so I just appreciate all of your patience, your grace, and your kindness. And please keep your concerns or your frustrations coming, so that then we can work together with you to make this right for your kids.
Well, it's been actually
pretty,
well, it's been kind of cool, because we've been able to meet people that we probably would have never met through the group that she's created. And it's a positive thing. We celebrate the little wins, and of course the kids want to be with you guys, and we want them to be with you. But every situation calls for different action. And again, I really wanted to just thank you immensely for supporting these kids.
Heather, thanks for that. And I just, I've said it all along that if there's a community that can figure some of these things out, it's Manitou. And if
Absolutely,
as a small school district with all of our wonderful aspects of our people, our places and spaces can't figure these things out, then how will large school districts, how will, other communities? And we have all the right people, and it is going to take positivity, solution mindset, a belief that all kids deserve the best education. And right now we're going to have to be flexible, and we can learn. I think we're going to learn some new things from both platforms, and both the hybrid and then in person and at home learning. And, as we know, public education will fundamentally change in so many different ways. And I think what I hear now is a community forming, and you've already started that, but we want you to know that we're partners with you, and that there's no separation from us or them or anything like that. So Heather, thanks for that. And I just appreciate each of you having this mindset of we're going to get through this, and you know what, it's going to be better than we even imagined. So I'm very confident in that. And Susie, thanks for being a partner with us also.
I'll tell you what, I can't wait to get to know more of you as we come back on campus. And Brianna, I think you're the unbelievable champion of this meeting, and I'm just grateful that you, as a kindergarten mom, were like, hey, I need some community, and I'm sure I'm not alone, and you just went for it and started something. That's just amazing, and I appreciate that greatly. Any other questions for myself or for Susie from Fuel? Go ahead, Amy.
I just have a suggestion really quickly. I know we're over time, but in this, for Brianna and for all of you, when you're doing this group, if we could have like a general knowledge and then by grade level, because there's so many issues that even our Facebook group kind of gets bogged down, and I'll just tune out, or, you know, so that we can, because the third grade moms in the group were already like, oh, this and this and that, and kind of messaging each other separately. So if we could just kind of have it categorized, because there really is so much stuff. And even today I had a minor issue, Suzanne, where they were saying you need your history record book. You need your history record book on materials. And I was on a 45-minute hold with K-12 and several emails from back and forth with the teacher, when it ended up being that was a notebook that I was supposed to provide. And it was just saying, record your answers in the history record book. But I was thinking it was some kind of book that he was missing, you know, so little communication things like that we could just have, like, oh, third graders, nope, that's a notebook you provide. And then it's just easy breezy to get that answer real dialed in, because that's not in the fourth grade curriculum or the kindergarten, which Brianna has covered, which thank you. But when it's like, you know, just a third grader thing or a fourth grader thing, it'd be great to just like real quickly go and zero in on that.
That's awesome. Brianna, watch out. Susie from Fuel is going to try to recruit you.
That's fine. I don't mind it at all. But I also want to say thank you to Colleen and Susie and everybody else who has been trying to get us information and trying to get us materials. And you guys have to be doing crazy amount. I'm doing just very little compared to what you guys are doing. And I just have so much respect and gratitude towards you guys for everything that you're doing to try and get us information and help. And so I just wanted to make sure we said thank you for everything that y'all are doing to help us stay a part of Manitou and be a part of Manitou, but also, you know, safely learn. And this one's been, because of the smoke, he's been, his asthma has been flaring up. And if it wasn't for having the online, I feel like he would have been home every day, because his asthma presents as a cough. And that's scary right now. So the fact that y'all have provided this platform and you have given us some hope is very, I just want to say thank you.
Well, I'll just tell you, you know, we're very grateful. And I will tell you that there's a lot of people that are on this chat right now, and a lot of people that are not, that have shown a lot of grace and kindness in a super frustrating situation. And I talked to a dad last night. He was like, oh, Colleen, I go, listen, I'm a mama. I said, and those people that know me well know I'm a pretty fierce mama bear. And so there's nothing more important than our children. And so the patience and kindness that you guys have shown, and this really is a team effort. So just really appreciative of all of you and the amazing team that I get to work with. I will tell you, this is not just Colleen here at the district doing this work. There's a whole lot of people that are really working really hard at the district level, at the building level, to support our kids right now. So people are working really hard, and parents like you are working really hard. So we're very grateful to be a part of this community. If there's no other questions, you will get some more communication. We'll set up these Zooms. And thank you for the feedback about maybe having an agenda and some pieces as we move forward every 2 weeks with these meetings. to get us started for this school year at least. And we will sign off and sign on to the 6/12 parent Zoom meeting for our Manitou Springs School District families that are on fuel. So thank you so much. Please reach out if there's something in between. And we'll keep working away together. And Brianna, I'll be in touch. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Have a great afternoon.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Thank you.